Hey guys, Kev here, and I wanted to talk to you guys about this crazy freaking flashlight that was sent to me by GodyGa. You guys tell me what that says. GodyGa. Don't leave just yet. Just give me a second, okay? Here's the box. Multifunctional flashlight. This is called the TorchEye. And this is the V2, okay? Now, I first saw this. So you were thinking when I showed you this, I thought AliExpress trash flashlight. This is just some junk that they're trying to get over on people, right? So I was ready to just skip that email. And then I just happened to scroll down and just look at the features on it. And I expected the usual. I expected a flashlight, a UV light, maybe a red light, and a laser or some shit like that, right? And of course, a clip. It has all that. Actually, I'm not sure it has a red light. I don't think it has a red light. But it also has very cool functionality that just like it's hard to explain. You're just like, what? This is on a flashlight? So this has a laser rangefinder on it, like for golfing or shooting, I guess you could use it for. Now I haven't tried it out to like long distance. It's just always been dark when I've gotten to messing with this, and I need to get this video up today. But I do plan to test it. Because I do use like a monocular laser rangefinder at the shooting range. And golfers obviously use something similar. Now this doesn't have the ability to look through it to know exactly what you're targeting. So I don't know how that would work. You'd have to be able to see the laser. And I don't really know the distance on it, but apparently it will do distance like for golfing because they have a freaking scorekeeper thing on here, which is crazy. But anyway, in the house for, you know, home improvement, stuff like that, or the picture they show, measuring your kids, you can use this. So it has an inclinometer. I don't even know what that is. I guess, obviously, it helps you know what an incline, what degree an incline is. So it can do angles, and it can also do distance, okay? And you can actually adjust the setting to pick up the laser, which I don't have on right now. Hang on, let me set it to the laser. Here it is. You can actually set it to give you the measurement from the front of the device or the back of the device. So depending on the situation, which believe it or not, you actually do need both. Like if you're trying to measure in your house, like the size of a room, like wall to wall, you're going to want to measure from the back of the device. So you can put this back against the wall and then measure, right? You wouldn't want it to measure from here because now you're not including this section or the size of the flashlight. But in another scenario, maybe you're trying to measure something from here to here, right? Then you probably want to just put this up to that thing and then measure. Yes, you could, I guess, just back it up to that thing and measure, and that should give you the same measurement, but it might be more accurate, right? And depending on the situation, you might not have the space or whatever to fit it. So it gives you that option, which is really cool. It has a sensor on it, okay? So it actually, I'll show you. So this is the screen, all right? I'm just gonna start showing you stuff. This thing's freaking cool, all right? I wanted to hate it. Like I wanted to just be like, this is stupid. This is garbage. Like why would I show this to people? But it was intriguing enough for me to check it out because I was like, okay, I'm a kind of a nerd. Like I'll check this out. And then I got it out of the box and started playing with it. And it's freaking awesome enough that like, I'm gonna show you, okay? So I don't have an affiliate link for this. This company has not paid me to make this video. They sent me the product. They reached out, asked me if I wanted to check it out. I've never worked with them before, at least not this company. Maybe they had another company and worked with me. I don't know. But they just reached out and were like, hey, would you want to check this out, review it? You know, we're releasing a generation 2 or whatever. So that's how this went down. No money exchanged hands. I just want to put that out there. I'm always as transparent as possible. I just want to be extra transparent on this one because it could seem like something that might get shilled. You know what I mean? But anyway, that's not the case here. So you have this button, as you can see, that turns on the device. And then you have this wheel that lets you dial for the functionality you want, or if you want the settings. Now the settings will only work if the device is off. So you can see how the settings is now gone because it's on. So I got to turn it off and now I can get to settings. You will want to acquaint yourself with the settings because that is where you're going to adjust the laser thing where it's going to measure from here or here. All right, you're going to want to know that. It also lets you change the way it gives you the measurement, which is very important because at first I was kind of confused because it would say, like I'd measure something and it'd be like 5.63 feet. And I'd be like, all right, cool. Let me just see if that's accurate. I grab a tape measure, right? And I'm like, I'm getting 5'7" or 5'8", right? Not 5'6'3". And then I realized they're breaking it into a decimal point, which means they're dividing the 12 inches by 100 or whatever. You get what I'm saying. They're putting it into a fraction or a decimal. I think that's English. And so you can change it to where it gives you the measurement in a fraction, the way you want it, right? It's going to say 5'11½", right? That's the way obviously you want it. It comes defaulted with the decimal, which is retarded, but that is why they have the settings. Obviously a Chinese company, they're used to using metric, where 5.83 millimeter, that makes sense, right? That'll match up with 3 dashes or whatever. So anyway, it has a sensor on it. So you'll see right now it's pretty bright and you're probably like, damn, Kev, that's gonna blind you when you go to turn it on. Oh wait, it's not blinding me. Isn't that fucking cool? So the way they do this is by using the inclinometer. So they know that from this point up to about that, I guess, somebody might be looking at it. So they don't have it work in that range of angle, okay? They're using the inclinometer, which is pretty freaking cool. So when you look at it, unless you tilt it too far forward, so let's say you're under it, like, okay, I'm doing some measurements or some shit for a home improvement. Let me turn this down so I stop getting blasted by it. You're doing some home improvement or something, and you're underneath it, and now you look down at it or up at it, you're getting hit, okay? But as long as you're like holding it like a normal person, like a handheld, kind of like a phone, basically, anything from here, right? So here, they do give you a little bit of downward, I guess. Nah, it's kind of just like straight. So from, I feel like it changed. But anyway, from here and then up, you get the idea. You can look at it and it's fine as long as you're not underneath it, okay? Plus, you can always just turn it off and then do what you gotta do. So the cool thing is from off, you can actually adjust the brightness. So if you watch here, the middle thing, by the way, is like a timer for how long you've been using this thing, this feature, I guess, is kind of how it works. But anyway, you could turn it off, and then you can hold and cycle. I guess you can't. You can't have it off when you do that. I must have just not been, I must have had it in the right angle when I was doing that. So anyway, you could just put it into this angle, one of the angles that makes it not turn on, and then adjust the brightness. That's what I meant to say. So I was showing you, and that's why it didn't work. Yeah. So right there, it's on. But if I look at it, it's like, okay, I want it to be pretty bright. Well, I don't have to blast myself to do that, right? I can just set it. Okay, I have it on setting 3 now, turn, and now it's on, and I didn't get hit with it. And you'll see it's on setting 3, and then double tap is gonna give you turbo, which is all 4, and that's gonna be a lot brighter. It's pretty freaking cool. There's an instruction manual that will teach you everything. I'm not gonna cover all that here. I'm trying to keep this video relatively short, which I'm very bad at, so bear with me. All right, so you have that feature. From off, you can hold down and you will get moonlight. This is the moonlight. It's not, shit, I can't look at it. It's not that moonlighty. It's a couple lumens maybe. It does give you a little bit of the white light look. That's kind of how I gauge moonlight on my custom flashlight that I carry every day. I have my moonlight set because this is a Dr. Jones driver. I can set the brightness to whatever I want, basically. I have it set to where I can stare at this sucker and it does not bother me at all. And that's how I basically know it's sublumen. Once it starts to kind of get you a little bit, that's how you know it's lumen. It's like 1 lumen or higher, in my opinion. But anyway, that's moonlight. And then also from off, you can triple tap strobe warning, and you will get the strobe. If you turn the device on and you triple tap, you will get a beacon. Sorry, it still cuts out when you, yeah. So I guess if you put it on some kind of beacon to save yourself, make sure you don't have it set to this angle because it will not work. It's kind of funny. If you like put it on a raft or a boat or something to save yourself and then it just was tilted the wrong way. Sorry, I think it's funny. All right, so then you can use this wheel to go to the next feature. That was the flashlight, obviously. Here we have the UV light. So again, we have the same deal. On, off, hold to cycle, low, medium, high, off, double tap, turbo. And again, that's a UV light. You guys know how that works. I don't know if there's a strobe. Let me, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, there's nothing. 1, 2, that was turbo. From on, no, there's no extra special modes with UV. Okay, we got it, UV. Settings, we'll get back to that. So let's turn it on. Sorry, go here. Shit, what did I do? Oh, I didn't change anything. Okay, good. So let me just on, off. Fuck. I need to get out of this, basically. Oh, I'll just hold. So if I hold down, it should cut out. Did it? Yes. Okay, so just, this is the inclinometer, I guess. This is your angle finder type deal. So you can see right here what angle we're at. If I hold it straight up, we're right at 90, right? Can I get there? Can I get to 90? Yeah. Doesn't want to go to past 90 though. I don't know. I don't know how this works exactly, but you can see depending on what you do, it adjusts. And you can hold it flat. You can't see it right now, but it kind of looks like a golf ball going in a hole. Or like a bullseye. It kind of is like one of those games where you're trying to get it to drop in. But if you set it on a table, it would sit there with the thing right in the middle, dead nuts. Let me show you. So I really don't want to edit, so I'm going to do this with the front camera, just show you. There you go, you can see it. It's like a little game kind of looking thing. And if you move it around, it moves around. And then if you move too far, boom, it gives you like higher numbers, I guess, is the way that works. Okay, you get the idea. You can hold, and that will hold a reference for you. You can see it says reference now. There's some other features with this, but basically it lets you do stuff with angles, which is really cool. Now, let's go to the next one, my favorite, the laser, okay? So you can use this like any other laser, okay? So you can do what I do a lot of times, which is mess with my kids. My daughter likes to pretend she's a cat and chase the thing around. And then my toddler, my son, gets in on it and he's laughing, and then I'll kind of hide it and they're like, where is it? And then I'll aim it at one of their noses and I'll be like, do you have a pimple on your nose? Anyway, you know, dad stuff, kid stuff, fun, obviously be safe. You don't want to shine a laser in anybody's eye. I've never actually done the nose thing, by the way. I usually aim it at their leg or something. I just realized that would probably be bad. All right, so you can do that normal stuff with it, okay? It's a red laser. But you can also use it as a measuring device. And the way you do that is, okay, so I have it on there, and then what you're gonna do is just hold down. So you have the laser. So how far is it from, I have it right now, you'll see, that indicates at the bottom there that we're measuring from the front of the device. You see how the little measuring line is at the front of that symbol? Okay, so we're measuring from the front of the device. So we can change that, but right now we're measuring from the front. It also gives you a level kind of deal. It uses the angle to give you basically a level. So I actually used this the other day to try to hang a picture frame. Didn't work as great as I wanted just because of the way the picture mounts, right? I had like 2 hooks a certain distance apart, and then you have to take the frame off, adjust the hooks, and then put the frame back on and try to hook it on there. And it had these little triangular things that you hooked on. And like, I just don't think you can really get that perfect using something like this. I was trying to just put it on top of the hooks to get them both at a 0. And then, you know, it works best for like, once you have the picture hanging, then you can like put this, like that picture back there of my, my dog, Jack. It's my boy right there. He died a long time ago, but I love that dog. You know, once you hang something like that, you can put this on top and see if it's level, right? That's how you would want to use that. I use my phone for that a lot. So there's an app on Apple, on iPhones, that is called Measure. So there's this Measure app. If you click on that, you can actually measure shit with it. So you can like, let me try to show you. So you line up something like, how tall is this chair, right? You can line up the top, click, and then go to the bottom of the chair, click, and it'll kind of tell you what it is. It says 4.5 feet. I didn't do that very well, but could be close. Depending on like the angle you're at and stuff, you know, it can get a little bit iffy, but it'll give you the gist of something. Like if you're measuring a box to ship, it's actually pretty useful. But anyway, there's a level option. And then you can use your phone as a level. And if you have it at 0, it'll kind of go green. And you're like, all right, cool, I'm good to go. So I use that a lot. This does the same thing. So anyway, it has that on there as well. It has the battery percentage, and then it has not the time of day as far as I know. I think it's telling you how long you've used a feature. I'm not positive. Maybe it is supposed to be. It changes a lot though. Like it's 116 right now. It's not 353, and it's changed. So I don't know exactly what it is, but I think it's some kind of timer. So anyway, what you do is you have the laser aiming at whatever you want. You decide if you want it to measure from the front of the device or the rear of the device, and then you hold down. Boom, it goes into that mode. So now we are 7 feet 2 inches and whatever that is from that wall over there. And as I move it around, or as I get closer, as I get farther, it changes, obviously. It changes depending on what I'm aiming at. You get the idea. The ceiling is 3 feet from where I am right now, 3'1", etc. So you can use this to measure your kids, they say. It's like in their marketing. And the way they tell you to do that is you basically just put this on the floor and make sure it measures from the bottom. You hold that, and that'll give you the measurement of your floor to ceiling, right? And then once you have a measurement, you tap and you can hold it, okay? So now you have that held and you know that it's 10 feet from the floor to the ceiling. Then you could measure from the top of your kid's head, right? So I'll just do it real quick. This will tell me how tall I am. We'll see if I'm right. So we're measuring from the front of the device. That is not what we want. We need to change the setting, okay? So we turn it off. We dial till we get to the setting section, tap, and now we can change stuff. So this is where you would change the measurement type. We want that, but here is meters, or metric, sorry. Then we have that version of inches, and then we have the one with decimal points that we don't want right here. That's what it defaults on. And then we have the one we want, where it's foot, inches, and then fraction, okay? Tap, and it set that, okay? So now let me go back to settings. Tap. Did it tap? Oh, okay. Go down to here, because this is the setting we're looking for. Click, and then turn till we get that one. Click again, okay? So now you'll see down here, we're measuring from the front of the device, okay? So I'm going to set this on the ground. There is a carpet, but it's going to be close enough. Well, I'm on the carpet, so now there's a dot on the ceiling. You get the idea. I'm going to hold it. And I actually, going to laser myself. So, all right. So I held it down to, like, I do a long press, and that will turn on the measuring. And then you're going to just tap it once, and that will hold it. So it said 8 feet, okay? And then it shut off. So we know from floor to ceiling is 8 feet, okay? So now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to use my head. I'm going to put this, I'm going to look straight. It'd be better if somebody else did it for you, but you're going to look straight, tap, or hold, tap. 2'2". So there's 2 feet, 2 inches from the top, 8 feet total. So if I subtract 8 feet minus 2'2", that would give you, well, I'm 6'1", but it basically is telling me I'm 5'10". That's because I'm not doing this, right? And I'm doing it above my head, so I'm probably, scrunching a little bit. You get the idea, though. Now, there is a way to actually have it do that stuff for you, I think. If from here, I think maybe double tap. Let's see. So here we go. We have a reference. I've never actually done this because I didn't know what I was doing before. So anyway, now it says reference inches, right? I don't like how that screen cuts out so fast. So I'm going to double tap. I'm going to go down to the floor again and hold. Okay. It didn't do anything. Let me just see how it works, actually. So tap maybe? Nope. It says 3'4". Okay, now double press. Nope. Double press, and then long pull? Nope. Triple tap? Foot squared? Not foot squared. I don't know. So I'm getting like the normal measurement, but it's not letting me do anything with that reference. At the top there, it says reference. So I wonder if I'm supposed to, then it worked. So that time I just tapped and it says 4'4" there. All right, so let me try this again. Now it's kind of working, but I don't know what it's doing exactly. So it's holding that as the reference. So let's clear that, turn that off. So let's try this again. I'm gonna try it from down here. I'm gonna try to get that reference going again. Error, okay. I gotta get on the floor. Okay, 8 feet, got it. Now can we make that the reference? No, it keeps going back to this 4 foot bullshit. How do I clear that? Long press maybe? Yes, okay, now let's try it. 8 foot, okay. Got it, okay. So, all right. Once you have that reference thing up, you just set it down, then you tap, and then you tap again, okay? And then it should be holding that 8 feet as the reference. Of course, it turned off because I didn't do anything, but it kept it on there as the reference. Nice. Okay, so now if I put it on top of my head, let's see what happens. Tapped one more time, and it did nothing. Still has that reference, but what does it do when you tap? There we go. Okay, so it's saying 49. So I think all it's doing is telling you the reference number. It's not changing at the current moment. So let's try it again. Hold. 3, 5. Press, hold. So now we lost the I don't know, I'm confused. So I have that reference held, and now I put it on my head, and I tap, and it says 5'10". Okay, so it did it. You saw that, right? So it's saying I'm 5'10" and 9/16. So read the manual, it'll explain it all, but you can measure your kids with this or yourself or whatever. That is kind of cool. I mean, is it novelty, the whole kids measuring thing? Yes. But you could use it for something useful, right? Like if you're doing furniture or you're building something and you need to know the distances, super useful. And it seems to keep that measurement in place. Once you put that reference in there, it's kind of hard to get rid of. I'm sure there's a way you just hold down and that clears it or whatever. But it wasn't easy to accidentally do that when the screen went off or whatever. It didn't just disappear. It kept that reference on there, which is very important in my opinion. So you could measure multiple kids in this example. So that's it, guys. It does a lot of crazy stuff. Apparently has like a golf thing on it too. There's some other stuff in the settings I wanted to look at, like it had, let's actually look at that and see. If I go to the settings, turn it off. Go to the settings, tap. What's this green thing at the top? It says light or life, and it says, oh, is that just a battery life? That's all that is, battery life. Got it. I thought you could change like an RGB or something. So we have the front thing, we have that. We have some kind of plus or minus, it looks like. Maybe you could add, 1 foot to everything, or I don't know. This has something else you can add stuff. And then there's screen brightness, I think. The angle thingy you could turn on and off. Something else you can change. Something else you can change. Hopefully you can see these. And then you have some kind of other thing you could turn on and off. You have like a thing where you could shake it. That does something. So there's a bunch of features. They're going to be in the user manual. Maybe somehow I wonder if like when it's off or something, maybe you can like shake it to turn on or something. I don't know. Or maybe you can turn off the fact that it has a gyroscope in it. I don't know. There's different things. Let's see. No, shaking it doesn't do anything. I just look like a retard. But anyway, cool features. It does a lot more than I can tell you here in a video that's 30 minutes long. My video could be an hour long and we could be here all night, and I'm trying not to do that to you guys. So let me know in the comments if you have any questions about this. Do you think it's as cool as I do? Because I definitely understand the people who are going to say, this is novelty, this is stupid, why would you want this in your pocket? I definitely understand those people, and that's kind of where I was coming from when I first saw this. But the more I play with it, so she said, the more that I respect the shit out of this company for making this. I mean, the fact that they fit all of that functionality in here is amazing. This thing weighs like 3 ounces. It's as big as a O-Clip or whatever they're called. It does all that stuff, right? But it also has this crazy functionality in it. It's like, I have a cool flashlight, but if you ever need it, you could fucking measure stuff. I don't know, kind of cool. You could know the angle of shit. Kind of cool. Like, knowing the angle and the distance, I guess, is good in golf, but it's definitely good in shooting, because the angle does make a difference. So like if you have a target at 200 yards, if that thing is at a 40 degree, right, it's going to make a difference to how you have to dial your scope versus if it's flat, right? Or if it's down or whatever. You get the idea. Because the bullet drops and then there's like the rotation and all, you know, dumb shit that we don't need to talk about here. But yeah, I'm impressed. That's all I got to say. It's 62 bucks. Sorry, I meant to tell you guys that a long time ago. Let me confirm that. I think it was $62.99 was the price. Yeah, $62.99 is the MSRP on this bad boy. It is the GodyGa TorchEye UDa, okay? And I guess they also call it with TorchEye. Maybe that's the system, TorchEye. It's going to be on Amazon. I will put a link in the description. If you use that link, I don't think it helps me, but do it anyway if you're going to get one. Maybe it will help me. I don't know. They didn't say that, but hey. And then they have this document that they wanted me to share. Okay, pause and check that out. Zoom around, look at it, you know, whatever. They're showing you that you can measure your kids like I showed you. You can measure a room. It says BMS zero delay bypass turbo. Okay. 650 lumens of brightness, 800 milliwatt, 365 NM UV. What's the NM? Something meter, nanometer, maybe. Intuitive stepless dimming and smart display. I didn't even know it had stepless dimming, so I think what they're saying is we could turn, oh, that was the light. Oh, it seems like it kind of defaults on the light, but I could be wrong. So let's see. Let's aim it somewhere where we can see it. Oh, aim it at you guys. I think, okay, that's just changing the feature. That's not giving me stepless dimming. Dialing up there. So maybe there's something I don't know. Hold. Nope. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe there's a feature that I don't understand. Smart display, 51 lumens to 650 lumens. Cool. They are talking about the light. If you turn it this way or that way, it has intuitive stepless dimming, but we didn't see that just now. I'm sure it's just something I didn't figure out. Rugged unibody construction, CNC milled from a solid piece of 6061 aluminum. which is pretty good. Wear resistant, hard anodizing. 65 foot distance, 0.3 millimeter accuracy, handle daily measurements. So the fact that it says 65 foot distance is important, because how could you have a golf measuring tool on here when 65 feet is nowhere near what you would see in golf? So that's kind of interesting. Don't think the golf feature is useful if 65 feet is the distance you can reach with the laser. Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of weird. Definitely research that if you were going to get this for golf or shooting or something. Real-time digital inclinometer. So there you go, guys. That's all the info I have, and I need to wrap this up. I love you guys. I appreciate you. Hit me in the comments on this one. I really want to hear from all of you. I want to know what you think. Is this stupid as fuck, or is this freaking genius and like having a bunch of tools in your pocket, in the palm of your hand, that some of you would love to have? Or is it somewhere in the middle? Just a cool, multifunctional flashlight that does cool shit that could be useful to some people, maybe not that useful in general, but it's just cool. That's kind of where I'm at with it. If I needed to do something specific, I probably have a better, more precision tool for the job, but it's still pretty cool. So I'm probably gonna measure my kids tomorrow. I love you guys. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you later. Peace.